This is my March TBR. I should probably mention before I begin that I am a massive mood reader, so this TBR will probably change. It definitely won't stay the same, but I do have some fun projects that I really want to do this month, so there are some books that will definitely be on my TBR. Whether or not I get to them in March is another matter entirely. It just depends how I'm feeling. I don't really have many plans coming up in March. We are going up to Leicester for the first weekend, just for the day though, and then following Sunday we have a silent book club in our town, which is really exciting. And then towards the end of March, Quill has some friends visiting, but to be honest, I don't have to be super sociable if I don't want to be, so I might just end up reading. And those are my only plans for March. And I'm sure work is going to be absolutely horrific, but it always is. There's not really much I can do about that. So without further ado, let's get on with the books. The first book I want to pick up is Caliban's War by James S.A. Corey. I read the first book in this series years ago and I never picked this one up, but I'm just really in the mood for some sci-fi and I want to try and complete a bunch of series this year. I'm probably not going to complete this one, but I want to make some progress in it. It's a very long series, so if I complete it, that's going to be really impressive, I think. I do think this is going to be a fun one and I can't wait to get stuck back into this world. In case you don't know, The Expanse is a series set in our solar system. Humans have colonized the entire solar system, including the asteroid belt. So the first book takes place mainly on the asteroid belt as they're following some sort of mystery about something that's happened. Reading the politics of this one is really, really interesting because, as with all things, humans have made everything political. Parts of the solar system don't like other parts of it. They're all competing, or they look down upon other parts of the solar system. It's so interesting. I'm really looking forward to learning more about the solar system, or the world, in this one. Another sequel that I really want to pick up is The Tyranny of Faith. This one is the sequel to The Justice of Kings, which I gave 4 stars. I've posted a full review of that one. I did have a couple of problems with it, particularly with the way the female characters were portrayed, and I'm really hoping that the author does a better job in this sequel. I am really interested in the world building in this one. I think I will really enjoy it. It's just, it depends how he handles the female characters. Again, I've gone into detail in my review if you want to go and check that out. I'm probably going to listen to this as an audiobook and read alongside because the audiobook narrator for these books is fantastic. In case you don't know, The Justice of Kings follows a guy called Sir Conrad who is a justice for the Emperor. So he goes around the empire and ensures that justice is being followed or dealt. The first one is a little bit of a murder mystery. So he gets to a town and finds that a lady is dead. He wants to figure out what happened to her and what these weird people in this town are doing. And there's also a side plot where a bunch of people are perhaps rebelling against the Emperor in one way or another. It's very good. You should read it. Another sequel I really want to read is Good Girl, Bad Blood. This is the sequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This will be a reread for me, so it shouldn't be too difficult. I really want to recap this entire series. I've already done a recap of the first book and it should be up on my channel by now, but if not, it's coming very soon. It's just taking a while for me to edit. And this is the sequel and I want to reread it and make some notes, I suppose. This series follows a girl called Pip who is kind of an amateur investigator sleuth in her little town, and this one builds upon things that happened in the first book where she was investigating the disappearance of Andy Bell, an older classmate, and the potential suicide of Andy Bell's boyfriend. It's very twisty and this is told in mixed media format, which I love, so can't wait to read this one. Another reread I want to get to is To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers. I read this one for the first time years ago and gave it 5 stars. This follows a group of scientists who are travelling to different planets and they're basically just exploring, and you're following them as they explore different places, different ecosystems, and learn a lot. So really looking forward to getting back into this one because it was honestly incredible. I also really want to read The Death of Jane Lawrence. This one is a horror book, I think. This author seems to write horror books. I've read one book by her before and really enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars, I think, so I'm hoping I enjoy this one even more. This is about a woman called Jane who is desperate to marry a guy. The guy in question agrees to her proposal but then says that she can't ever visit the family manor house and she wonders why. I also wonder why, I don't know. I'm also going to give Doing Time by Jodie Taylor a go. I read the first book in the first series to this series because this has spin off recently and I didn't love it. I thought it was quite poorly written, but this was my first purchase of the year and I'm kind of thinking I might as well just give it a go now and not leave it on my shelf for too long while I'm still familiar with the writing style and the world, and see if I enjoy it, and if I don't like it then I'll just unhaul it and then that will be a success story in my opinion. So I'm going to give that a go. I also really want to read Mindwalker, but this is kind of like at the bottom of my priorities list. This is a YA sci-fi book and I don't really know what it's about. It's something about a mission going wrong. If you can't tell, I'm really into sci-fi at the moment and I really want to read more sci-fi because I read barely any last year, so I'm really getting into more sci-fi and fantasy, which is good because it's clearing space on my shelves. And then I also really want to read Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna because I'm doing a part 2 to my Kristen Hanna project where I try to read all of her books eventually, because she's written like 30 of them, and decide which one is best. I've already had a favourite from the previous video that I did and I want to see if any of these other books beat that. So I'm reading Winter Garden in March and I might might get to the women if it comes in from the library in time, but I'm like 12th on the list or something, and there's only like 4 copies in my county, so I probably won't get to that until April. But I want to read Winter Garden and then figure out which other books from the list I want to read, because there's a bunch. Her bibliography goes on for an entire page, so I've got some in mind. There's definitely like Magic Hour, I think, and Night Road maybe. I don't know. I'm more interested in her more recent ones, I think. All of the older stuff I'm just not sure about, so definitely want to read this one. I might get my hands on some more, we will see. I also want to read Lilith, which is another library book. This is the origin story of Lilith from Christian mythology and the Old Testament, I suppose, and it's talking about how she got banished from the Garden of Eden. I've not heard amazing things about it. Like I said in my book haul, I've not heard like many things about it, and I've just flicked through and it mentions Yahweh, and I'm low-key obsessed with Yahweh and Yahweh's story, because I went through a whole phase recently, like a couple of years ago, where I was watching The Prince of Egypt. This could sound so stupid. I was wondering like what the origins or genealogy of God was, like the Christian God. I was kind of like, where did he even come from? And who were his parents? Because every other god in like pantheons and stuff have a family and parents and things and connections, but the Christian god is like some sort of solo guy. So I started looking him up, and the origin story of Yahweh being like a thunder storm god is so interesting. So it's pleasing that this book mentions Yahweh, and I'm looking forward to reading this one. And then the last 5 books that I want to read in March are going to be books for a project, and there's no guarantee I'm going to get to all of them, because the project that I'm doing it for, I'm going to be really vague here. I might not need to read these specific books, but I have a feeling I might have to read at least like definitely 2 of them, surely. See if you can guess what this project is in the comments down below. I'll be so interested to know if any of you get it. It's probably not that difficult. So the first book I want to read for this secret project that I'm making a massive deal out of is A Spell of Good Things. I got this one from the library. This one is set in modern Nigeria, something about a politician, sudden violence, shattering a family apart. I don't know anything about it, but I'm hoping to enjoy it. I also really want to pick up Study for Obedience for this project as well. This one's a really short book. It's under 200 pages and the spacing is like a children's book, so this shouldn't take too long at all. This one seems quite mysterious. So it seems to be about a young woman who moves from where she has grown up to a remote place in the countryside or something, and it says like weird things happen, like bovine hysteria and a phantom pregnancy and a potato blight. Like what is going on? I'm not really sure, but I'm looking forward to giving this a go and finding out, I think. I also want to pick up Mame, which came out last year. It may not fit into the project, to be honest. I need to do some research, but regardless, I want to read it anyway. This sounds a little bit like Queenie in that it's about a black woman growing up in the UK. The main character's parents are Ghanaian, and she is the one who is kind of taking care of the family as the oldest daughter. It says here that she finally gets the chance to leave home, and she is determined to become the woman that she wants to be. Then tragedy strikes, and Maddie is forced to face the risks and rewards of putting her heart on the line. So I think it's kind of like a coming of age novel, which really enjoy. And again, it might not fit into this project, so this might have completely thrown you off. And then I also really want to read Night Bloom. Again, this one might not fit into the project like I am planning it to. I should really have done more research, but I didn't. I'm just guessing here. So this is about 2 cousins who grow up in Ghana. They are super close, basically like sisters, and then all of a sudden one of them notices that the other one is kind of changing, and it seems really subdued compared to normal, and she's not sure why, she won't say. And so they grow up and grow apart, and I think it's about like, again, female friendship and relationships and love and stuff. I think this one's going to be really good. I kind of just picked this one up on a whim in the library when I saw it kind of facing outwards, and then decided that it might fit into this project. So I'm making it fit. So those are the 5 books I want to read for that. And then I think that's it. I actually have a bunch more books that I want to read. Obviously I've got my entire TBR behind me. I might do some mood reading. I should also probably try to read some books from my 5-star predictions list. So let me just pick one from that and see how I go. I've decided to go with Fireborn because I have been told by multiple people that they love this one, and I think Astrid gave this one 5 stars recently. I'm fairly sure she said that. Now I'm doubting myself. But this one is about dragon riders, and it's an entire complete series as well, so if I love this, then I can binge read the series if I want to. I think there might be a ship in this one, which is part of the reason why I chose it as a 5-star read. I'm really excited for this, so I'm going to put this on my TBR as well. And that is probably, or should probably be it, because I can't read this many books in 1 month unless I take some time off work. I'm going to give it my best, and you guys should wish me luck, and we'll see at the end of March how I get on. So fingers crossed for me. Thank you so much for watching this video. Tell me what you'll be reading in March in the comments down below, and I'll speak to you all in the next one. Bye.